Of course, class. Okay. Most people joke about diabetes in a matter of something too sweet will give them diabetes, or because they overloaded on sugar, they'll enter a diabetic coma, and make even such comments such as, "This drink is liquid diabetes." But most people who joke about the disease has never experienced firsthand what it feels like and how it affects a person. As a type 2 diabetic, I've experienced the effects diabetes has on the body. Issues such as nerve damage like the neuropathy, renal failure, and kidney failure are just some of the lasting effects of diabetes. It has been said that diabetes can be influenced by genetics and environmental risk factors through but although genetics alone are not enough to trigger the disease. Hereditary factors as well as genes can contribute to the onset of diabetes, and the environment in which you live in triggers it, although in the search for the exact gene and environmental risk factors is an ongoing process. Genes that influence the onset of diabetes can be, but are not limited to, the IDDM1 all the way to the IDDM18, which are HLA genes that encode immune response proteins. Now, there are variations in the HLA genes that are important risk factors in genetics, but they aren't the sole enemy in how diabetes and other genes are involved. You also have non-HLA genes labeled as IDDM2 gene, or as they call it, the insulin gene. The CTLA4, whose role is to help regulate the immune response. So in basic terms, HLA genes are genes encode your molecules that are highly important to the immune system. The molecules contain a small chains of amino acids on the surface of the cells, so the immune cells can analyze the chains. If the immune system happens to find a chain that doesn't belong, they begin to attack. Without HLA genes, our immune cells would not find the chains of bacteria, viruses, or even tumor cells. Now, although genes are a cause of diabetes, environment and lifestyle have a larger impact on why someone can get diabetes. Some say that cold weather, along with existing genes, can cause diabetes to be triggered. Some studies show that some forms of diabetes are more likely to develop in colder weather, so diabetes may be more common in colder climates. Viruses may also trigger the onset of diabetes. When one gets sick, the immune system is weak because it's fending off the intruder in your body, giving the disease a chance to take hold of the body while it's on the down. One very common trigger to diabetes is definitely diet and exercise, or lack thereof. When one fails to diet and exercise, the body stores fat. When the body stores fat, the body needs more sugar and starches so it can be converted into energy for you to go about your daily business. When your liver continues to dump sugar into your body, your pancreas' natural reaction is to pour out insulin in your body. And your body reaches a point to where the sugar outnumbers insulin. At that point, prescribed medications are involved to control your sugar, to lose weight, and further yourself from the risk of your diabetes getting worse, or work towards your diabetes having a very high negative impact on the body. Now, there are two types of diabetes someone can have. One can be controlled and eventually go away with diet and exercise. The other is a lifelong battle that one has to endure. The most severe of the two is type 1 diabetes, also known as insulin dependent. To get type 1 diabetes, risk factors are gained from both sets of parents. It is assumed that Caucasians have a higher risk of getting type 1 diabetes because they have the highest ratings of type 1 diabetics. This form of diabetes is normally diagnosed amongst children and young adults anywhere from ages 1 to 17 and is only found in about 5% of people who actually have diabetes. With type 1 diabetics, the body doesn't produce insulin at all. Insulin is needed to convert sugar into energy for the body to work off of. Most people who have type 1 diabetes rely heavily on injections of insulin to regulate their sugar. There are over 20 different types of insulin that are used to treat diabetes because every body is different. Some rely on the use of an insulin pump implanted in the body, and it's attached to a small machine that reads sugar 24/7 and supplies insulin to the body as needed. The most common type of diabetes is type 2 diabetes, which, if you're not properly dieting or exercising, can come and go. If you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which means your pancreas is working, but your body's not using the insulin properly, causing spikes in sugar levels. This is also known as insulin resistant. It starts as your pancreas goes into overtime to make extra insulin and to make up what the body doesn't use. In time, the pancreas works so much that it cannot keep up and is unable to make enough insulin to keep your sugar levels normal. If type 2 diabetes isn't controlled, it can lead to further complications in life. Type 2 diabetes is treated with a change in lifestyle. Diet is moderated to eliminate foods that don't benefit the body, such as bad carbs, excessive sugar intake, and amounts of bad fat. An increase in physical activity is also added to help lose weight that can cause your body to store all the extra sugar that isn't used by insulin to be made into energy. Now, some people adapt to the diabetic lifestyle quite easily and are able to maintain a long and healthy life. There are others that either struggle with or ignore doctors' orders to make a change and face lifelong complications. One of the most common complications that people face is nerve damage, also known as neuropathy. More than half the people with type 2 diabetic struggle with some type of neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy is a form where numbing and tingling of hands and feet occur. The feeling of constant pins and needles on your feet are like your foot falling asleep times 10. The pain is so severe at times that sometimes something as simple as a breeze from a fan can cause immense pain. Foot exams are performed at every visit to check for sores, cuts, blisters, and any other abnormalities. Skin, bones, muscles, and blood flow are also checked as well. Numbness is also tested, sometimes with a small tuning fork to see where sensitivity in the foot levels are. Over time, if not properly cared for, small cuts and sores may go unnoticed or untreated, and loss of limbs can be an end result. Sure, your feet are important, but what most people don't know is that renal failure can come from lack of care for your diabetes. Glaucoma is found in 40% more people with diabetes than those without. If a person has had diabetes for a long time, they're more likely to develop glaucoma and is an increased risk with age. For those who don't know what glaucoma is, it's when pressure builds up behind the eye, protective fluid in the eye drains and pressure grows where blood vessels that carry blood to the retina and optic nerve are pinched, causing loss of vision. Cataracts, anybody can get them, but they're found in 60% more people with diabetes than those without. Cataracts are grown at a younger age and are rapid in growth. If cataracts fully take over, they cause cloudiness in the eye and block out any and all light. Cataracts can be surgically removed and replaced with new lenses, but cataract surgery, when fixed, can worsen in people with diabetes. If you start to develop cataracts, sunglasses are recommended, especially those with control lenses. From your eyes to your feet and back up to your kidneys, diabetes, if uncared for, can cause major kidney failure. Kidneys are the filter for the entire body. If they were unable to filter bodily waste, the end result could be kidney disease. When someone has high levels of sugar filtering through the kidneys, this causes the kidneys to filter sugar as well as too much blood. When extra work is put in, the filters of the kidneys start to leak protein through the urine, which is known as microalbuminuria. If gone untreated, the chance of kidney disease increases with time. If the disease is caught after the protein is leaked from kidneys, ESRD, also known as end-stage renal disease, follows next. The kidneys lose all ability to filter waste, and it builds up in the blood. And in the end, kidneys give up, and ESRD is so serious that dialysis or kidney transplant is in desperate need. Everyone has their own ideas of what diabetes is and how you can get it. It sometimes comes to a shock to those who are diagnosed because it's a huge lifestyle change. And yes, there will still be those fair few who make jokes about getting diabetes or swear they're going to go into a diabetic coma from drinking their liquid Kool-Aid that was liquid diabetes. Until those people have have a better understanding of the disease and walk a mile in my shoes, they'll never know the endless pain of neuropathy in their feet, the constant fluctuation in vision from uncontrolled sugars, or how you were so close to kidney failure that the doctors wondered how you'd lasted this long. Endless finger pricks, shots, tears, depression, and frustration of diabetes is a lifelong battle that I will forever endure. I would never wish this disease upon anyone, not even my worst enemy. So as you go home today and enjoy a meal with your family, then nonchalantly shrug off going to the gym, think to yourself, Do we need that extra piece of bread or dessert? Can we drink water instead of soda? Should we make the effort to work out? Always think, what if you or a member of your family were diagnosed today? What could have you done to prevent it?